So in today's video, I'm going to be talking about how I got into the God of War franchise, because I realized God of War has been out for years, like ever since the PlayStation 2 days, but I never really had the opportunity to sit down and play those original God of War games, because my very first God of War game was actually the soft reboot that they did, which was God of War 2018 that released on the PS4. I gotta say, after playing God of War 2018, and getting that insight on Kratos throughout all of the games that happened before 2018 and fully getting into this one, I really love the world of God of War. And I've always been a fan of things that occurred in mythology. I took a class at school for mythology because I was just so interested in the lore, and I feel like that's probably why I started getting into God of War, because it just reminded me of those days when I was in school having those classes, because I just loved learning about history. And I just love how God of War, gives you a different perspective where it has its own story it's telling, and then you also meet those familiar faces within that world that you're traveling through, like with the Norse mythology, which is what God of War 2018 and God of War Ragnarok is based on. You meet people like Odin, you meet Thor, you meet a whole bunch of people that were around in that era, and it was just really interesting to see how God of War took that story, how God of War told that story within Norse, things that occurred with the books that you read, how it's being retold in a God of War format, and seeing how God of War took Ragnarok, because that was a big thing that happened in Norse mythology, and how they brought it into God of War, and how it changed the world after that, and how different relationships were affected within God of War Ragnarok. Just seeing how everything came together, and what point led up to this and what point led up to that. I just had a really fun experience with that, because I just love the world of history. I just love learning about more and more things, and I felt with getting into God of War, it really helped me get a better understanding of okay, this is what happened around the time. Obviously, not the exact same thing, but a lot of things stayed true to nature when it came to certain characters, which of course we saw within God of War Ragnarok and God of War. So I am really happy that I took the time to sit down and play those games, because I love Kratos. I think he's a badass character, and it's just so interesting to see how he was before, because the way that he was treated back then, and seeing how he was on a path of vengeance, just destroying every god in Greece, and him reflecting on what he did and how he wanted to become a better person, that character arc that he was going through at the time, so he could fully understand where he is now and how he's evolving from this and how he's becoming a better person. I really love that, just reflecting on the kind of person he was, as I mentioned, not wanting to be that person anymore, wanting to set a better example for his son, trying to become a figure that people could admire, going down that direction. I just really love that, and I just love it just gives you more room where it's okay, just because we have a character arc complete with Kratos right here, it doesn't mean everything's done with Kratos, we're gonna completely walk away from the character, because with God of War, there's just so many different directions that these characters can go, where it's they complete this one struggle that they're going with, where they develop from it, and then they eventually set another path for themselves to go down. Because what you saw in the 2018 God of War game, which obviously this is gonna contain spoilers, you see how Freya's reaction was for what Kratos did to her son towards the end of that game, and how it was kind of a little reminisce of what happened with Kratos and his father back in God of War 3, where he eventually killed his father, because that was just the whole philosophy down there. But Kratos wanted things to be different. He was trying to look out for Freya, because her son was trying to go after her, and it was going to be a complete process where it was going to be just what happened with Kratos, but what happened with the son trying to go after his mother. So I just like seeing the progression of characters. I just love the relationships within the game, the whole world when it comes to Norse or whatever kind of mythology that they want to explore. I just really love that, and I can sink my teeth into that all day. I just love sitting down and just learning more about the world and discovering things that I didn't know. It's just a really cool thing. Like, that's honestly the best way to sum it up. It's just a really cool thing to just sit back and just absorb everything that's happening. And also, you know, just looking at how God of War games are in general, where you're just playing as Kratos and you're just destroying everything in your path. You're going up against all these different kinds of enemies. You're using your axe, you're using your blade of chaos, or you're using the spear that you got from Ragnarok, and you're just beating up all these different kinds of enemies using different kinds of combos. The whole gameplay experience when it comes to God of War was really fun, but then it evolved in God of War Ragnarok, and it was even better. And I always enjoyed the combat in those games. Same thing with the boss fights. They always felt so intense. It honestly felt like you were there experiencing the boss fight itself. You're fighting dragons, you're fighting Odin, you're fighting Thor. It's such like a really cool setup with how they orchestrate all these things within the God of War games. And looking at the past God of War games, when you're going up against these different gods, you're going up against Medusa, you're going up against Hades, you're going up against Zeus. Like, it's just like a really cool feeling just being in that situation where you got to figure out exactly what move you're going to make in order to progress to the next stage of the game. It's just really fun, and God of War games really go all out. Like, Kratos does not hold back. Like, when he wants to show mercy and he wants to beat you to a pulp, he'll beat you to a pulp. Or if he just wants to shut your ass up, he'll shut your ass up. That's just the thing about God of War. I just really love how everything's orchestrated. It's just a really fun game overall, because it's a game that has a story you get invested in. The game makes you care about the characters. It's not like it's just a character there for like a little bit and then you just say goodbye to them and you never see them again and they're not really that important. Like, the game actually gives you a reason to care about these characters as you're following them throughout their journey, and it's just really awesome to see how much love and care is put within the God of War franchise. I'm so happy that I had the opportunity to get myself into the game and become a fan, because I'm really curious to see what sort of direction God of War goes next. Because with Greece, we're done with that. With Norse mythology, we're done with that. Are we gonna go to Egypt? That'd be pretty cool. That's something that a lot of fans have been wanting for a long time. Kratos going to Egypt, discovering things over there, seeing what happens if people know of his name over there would just be a really interesting concept to explore. And just overall, what would happen within that area, it would just be awesome. But honestly, that's all I have to really say about God of War. There's just so many things you can do. The gameplay's really fun. The story gets really deep, especially when it comes to the lore. And if you want to get insight on that, you know, there's people out there that make videos on it that really go in depth, and that's what really caught my attention when it came to things that I really wasn't aware of at first. So I definitely love that. But if you guys have anything you guys want to share with me, like if you guys happen to be fans of God of War yourselves that you want to share with me in the comment section, make sure to do so. Make sure to share any thought that you have in the comment section down below. And also make sure to follow me on all my social media. That includes my Twitter and my Instagram. It's all located there, so make sure to follow me in there if I'm not posting content on YouTube. And speaking of that, make sure to click on that notification bell for videos so you're informed whenever I upload a new one. Make sure to like and subscribe to show your support for the channel, because I really appreciate everything that you guys do. We are currently at 20 subscribers. We just hit 20 subscribers today, so I want to sit down and just applaud you guys for helping me out to reach this goal. I really appreciate it. I don't know what I would do without you guys. I just started this channel. We are 10 videos in and we're already at 20 subscribers. That's just a really awesome feeling. So again, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. And as always, hope all of you guys are having a fantastic day. Wherever you guys are, if it's the daytime, the nighttime, or the evening. And I'll see you guys in the next video. as always, peace out.